There's a moment in Shawshank Redemption that doesn't get talked about enough. Andy Dufresne has been thrown in a hole again. The warden took away the one thing that might set him free, and Andy sits in that darkness. No books, no chess pieces, no daylight. And he smiles. Not because things are good, because they can't touch that part of him inside of him that no one can reach. That image, a man in a hole smiling, is the entire film in one moment. And there's a 2013 British film that starts off in almost exactly the opposite place. A young man arrives in prison with nothing inside worth protecting, just pure rage, every wall up, no inner life, no smile. And the film asks, what happens when someone like that meets someone who refuses to give up on him? Everything you're about to hear is why these two films belong together and why most people never make that connection. The Shawshank Redemption came out in 1984, directed by Frank Darabont, based on a Stephen King novel, and it failed at the box office. Think about that. The number one rated movie in history on IMDb with over 3 million votes bombed when it was released. It took years of home video and cable TV before the world caught up to what it actually was. The story is simple on the surface. Andy Dufresne is a quiet, intelligent banker and is wrongfully convicted of murdering his wife and sent to Shawshank State Prison. He didn't do it, and he spends the next 20 years proving that the walls can't touch him. What makes Shawshank different from every other prison film is what Andy carries inside of him. Most men who go to prison, innocent and guilty, get broken by it eventually. The institution grinds them down. It tells them who they are every single day until they actually believe it. And Andy never believes it. He builds a library. He files letters to the state until they send money. He plays opera over the prison loudspeaker because he decides for one moment that beauty belongs inside these walls too. And then there's Red. Morgan Freeman's Red is an emotional center of the entire film. A man who's been inside so long that Shawshank is the only world he knows. He's institutionalized. He gets things cigarettes, a rock hammer, a poster of Rita Hayworth. Being useful is the only power that he has left. And then Anley walks in talking about the ocean, talking about hope like it's a real thing. Red thinks he's crazy until he doesn't. The most powerful thing about Red isn't what prison did to him, it's what Andy undid. A man who never stopped believing in anything, slowly, quietly, against his own better judgment, and starts to hope again because of one person who refused to stop. That's Shawshank. Not a prison film, a film about what one person's refusal to give up can do to the person standing next to him. Startup came out in 2013, directed by David Mackenzie, written by Jonathan Asher, a man who spent years working as a therapist inside a British prison. This is not about a film that someone imagined, this is a film that someone lived. The title refers to a real practice in British prison system. When a young offender is considered too dangerous for juvenile facility and is transferred early into adult prison. Start up. Promoted into hell before your time. Eric Love is a 19-year-old. He arrives in an adult British prison and within minutes has taken apart his cell, fashioned weapons from the components, and made clear to everyone around him that he is not afraid of anything or anyone. He's not performing. He's not trying to prove something. This is just who he is. A young man so damaged by everything that came before this moment that violence is the only language that he has left. And then two things happen that Startup has no business being good as it is. First, Eric discovers that his father is already inside the same prison. A lifer named Neville, played by Ben Mendelsohn. A man who has spent so long inside that he has built a kind of an underground authority for himself. Calm, controlled, everything that his son is not. They've never had a relationship. Neville wasn't there, and now they're in the same yard and neither one of them knows what to do with each other. Second, there's a therapist, Oliver, played by Rupert Friend, a man running a voluntary group therapy program inside the prison that the system barely tolerates. He sees something in Eric that no one else is willing to look for. Not potential exactly, something more fragile than that. The faintest possibility that underneath all that rage there's a person who could be reached. What follows is one of the most honest films about fathers and sons, about institutional violence, about what it actually takes to reach someone who's been failed by every system that they are supposed to protect them that I've ever seen. The performances are extraordinary. O'Connell is terrifying and heartbreaking in equal measure. Mendelsohn, who is one of the best actors working today, gives you a father who doesn't know how to be a father, trying to learn in the worst possible conditions. And the film never lets you off the hook. It doesn't give you easy redemption, it gives you something harder and more honest than that. Small moments, incremental shifts, the terrible writing work of one human being choosing to reach toward another. Shawshank gives you Andy, a man who already knows who he is, who carries his inner life like armor, whose hope is so complete and unshakable that it becomes contagious. Startup gives you Eric, a man who's never been shown that he has an inner life worth protecting, whose rage is the only thing keeping him alive because no one ever taught him anything else. Both films live inside the same walls. Both films ask what one person's belief and another can actually do. And Shawshank is Andy believing in red, quietly, patiently, over 20 years. And Startup is Oliver believing in Eric and Neville, learning too late and trying anyway, believing in his son. The endings are different. The emotional weight is the same. That feeling you have at the end of Shawshank, that specific combination of devastation and hope, Startup will put it back in your chest and make you feel it again from a completely different direction. This is what this channel was built on. The films that connect across decades and countries and completely different worlds that no one is drawing a straight line between until now. The Shawshank Redemption is everywhere. You know where to find it. Watch it again after this and pay attention to the moment that Red gets on that bus. You'll feel it differently now. Startup is available on a rent on Prime Video and Apple TV. Watch it on it one night when you're ready for something that doesn't let you look away. The Real Unseen, the film's worth finding.